You know, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and this is the prelude to the video. I just want to, kind of give some insight on what just happened in Auburn. Now, a lot of folks are thinking, man, y'all just beat Texas A&M 13-10. What is the big deal? Well, the big deal is this. You have a former All-American running back, Cadillac Williams, who absolutely loves Auburn, first African-American coach on any term as a football coach, head football coach, whether it's interim or not, gets his first victory in his home stadium. Huge deal. Now, what means more than that, though, and see, that's why I can't get these Alabama fans to understand the passion of Auburn, why we don't necessarily, we wanted to win national championships like everyone else. But there's a genuine love and passion for this football team. It's very emotional to a degree. I mean, you look at how Cadillac Williams scurried down the sideline and how he, lived this at one time, and being able to relive this as a coach has to be a surreal experience. And even from a personal standpoint, being able to look at Cadillac Williams, I remember, I was a little bit, his senior. I remember when he was recruited. I remember when Ronnie Brown was recruited. I was there at the time. And I remember how huge that was. I remember that two running back duo at Auburn and how they did some great things. And to see him as a coach now is absolutely phenomenal. What's even more phenomenal is the fact that one guy, Cadillac Williams, who was appointed interim head coach, pretty much every the key players on his team from that 2000 era came back and supported on a high level. I mean, these are guys that are they're doing very well in life and could have found something better to do, but they decided to support a true Auburn guy. And that's Cadillac Williams, man. We can't take that away from him. We can't take these moments away from him. I think, I said this in a couple of videos back. All-American. Rookie awards in the NFL. Good football coach. But I can almost bet anything of tangibility that I have that Cadillac Williams' most defining moment was last Saturday night. I think about that song by Nicki Minaj where she said, "I wish I could have this moment for life." You could see it on his face. You could see it on his face. That was a defining moment of his life that you can't take away. I hope you enjoy this video. Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn here for the podcast. Let's get it. All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Talking Auburn football, go ahead and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Look, here we are. I wanted to do a Auburn versus Texas A&M the day after. Man, I lost my voice. I'm just now getting it back. Now, if you ever lose your voice, here's what you need to do. You need to take you a Dayquil, and you need to take you a Mucinex, and that'll start to loosen all that stuff up. Either way, and it sounds like Gary Danielson, as he was presiding over the Alabama versus Ole Miss game, sound like he has some voice issues going on too. But either way, like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. We're going to look at the SEC standings real quick. Now, LSU, surprisingly, has clinched their way into the SEC West portion of who will represent that sub-conference in the SEC championship. Now, many of us, myself included, I didn't give LSU a chance. Now, that was prior to the first game of the season. Looking at footage of LSU against Florida State, that gave me reason to think, man, this is a solid football team. I mean, they're good on defense. They're pretty good on offense. The quarterback hasn't quite figured it out yet. But as the stretch has happened, you got an 8-2 LSU football team that has, my goodness, solidified themselves as the representative of the SEC West in the Southeastern Conference Championship, with big wins over Mississippi State. Now, let's bring Auburn into the situation. Auburn was up two scores against LSU. Arguably would have been one of the biggest wins of the season for Auburn, but they just couldn't do it. After LSU struggled at Auburn, it has been all no holds barred after that. 45-35 over Florida. 32-31 over Alabama. My goodness. These guys have really been getting it done. After getting blown out by Tennessee, recovered and beats Mississippi State 45-20. Then, when you look at a championship team, they're going to have that struggle win down the stretch, a huge win over Arkansas on the road, and now LSU takes on Texas A&M, which has no bearing as far as the SEC championship, but LSU loses, they relinquish any opportunity to participate in the college football playoffs. Because here's the skinny on this. LSU beats Texas A&M, then figures out a way to beat Georgia on December 3rd in Atlanta. You're talking about a team. We've been talking about this for years. Excuse me. We've been talking about this for years. The prospect of a 2-loss team making it into the playoffs. And if any team can do it, at this point, late in the season, especially not choking against Texas A&M, it's LSU. So, with that in mind, we go back to the Auburn versus Texas A&M game. Now, emotions soaring high. It just gives you the thing to where you got to understand the psyche of the Auburn fan. The Auburn fan is very emotional at its base. And if you think about it, for good reason. I mean, you have to face Alabama every year. You have to face Georgia every year. You have to face LSU every year, especially now that LSU is LSU as they are now. And national championships and championship opportunities, come few and far between at times. Now, Auburn has had its opportunities. 92, I think, a very good football team. Well, 93. 92. Yeah, 93. Very good football team, but couldn't compete because of the sanctions that were against them then. Probably could have claimed some more national championships, but didn't. Auburn is a very good football program, a very proud football program. And a lot of folks across the country are like, man, why y'all celebrating a 13-10 win over Texas A&M? You may not go to a bowl game. Obviously not in the running for the SEC Conference Championship. So what's the big deal? Well, for all of you people who are ignorant, I say that in a very positive way, because ignorance does not necessarily mean a negative thing. You're ignorant to Auburn football. You're ignorant to the Auburn culture. When you hear words at Auburn like love, and because we believe, and because the men and women of Auburn believe in these things, I believe in Auburn and love it. This is an emotional fan base. This fan base genuinely loves Auburn. Now, here's a scoop. I told you guys videos back. I always liked Auburn. Grew up, though, as a Florida State fan. I like Florida State. Deion Sanders and Derrick Brooks and all that stuff. I like Florida State. But I always liked Auburn for some reason. I grew up about 15 minutes away from Auburn in Tuskegee, Alabama. My aunt, she was fanatical about Auburn. And I didn't understand it. I was like, this team doesn't really win. Like, they win, but they don't win no championships. But she loved them. Like, she loved them. We would have tailgate parties at the house for Auburn football. I remember when the barn caught on fire in the LSU game. And I'm like, man, there's something crazy about this team. Something different about this team. And as I became a student at Auburn, I was like, man, this is more than just wins or losses. It's a passion to the school. I always liked Auburn, but man, I'm starting to kind of love Auburn a little bit. Now, what solidified it for me, I had graduated from Auburn with a bachelor's degree in the fall of 2002. Now, you go into 2003, Auburn does okay, But what really solidified me about the spirit of Auburn and the passion of Auburn was Hurricane Ivan, I think, came through South Central Alabama, kind of tore some stuff up. Auburn took on Nick Saban's LSU, and Auburn won that game in a very passionate fashion. And I haven't turned back since. I have absolutely not turned back since. I think Auburn is a good program. I think the 13-10 win and the passion of the crowd, it was the first time in a long time that I'd heard the crowd roar after a hit. Cam Riley rocked, I think the running back or the wide receiver coming out of the backfield rocked him. And the crowd almost simultaneously gave the sound effects of the hit. And then you think about how much Auburn players love Auburn when they come back and embrace Cadillac Williams for his first victory as an Auburn Tiger. And for that, my friends, that's why we believe in Auburn and we love it. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.